Alright, straight to the point this time. Could you kill a man with just a magnet?
I mean, sure, if you throw it hard enough.
Okay, well, thank you for the suggestion, John Wick, but let's move on. I thought of this question because in sci-fi we hear all the time about dangerous radiation weapons or dangerous laser beams, but we rarely ever see the other side of the electromagnetic spectrum explored, which is just too bad. There's a lot you could do and explore with magnetism. For example, in my mind control video I made years ago, spoilers, I brought up how magnetism could be involved in mind control. On top of that, looking at the most accurate source of scientific information, comic books, Magneto is doing some crazy things with magnetism in the comics, like blood bending and ripping molecules apart. Believe me, I will get to the science of both of these eventually because there's more to doing these things and they're fascinating. But while wondering about why magnetism is brought up so much less, one question just kept coming back. Is magnetism lethal? I'm not saying you need to be afraid of the tiny I Heart Dog Mom's magnet you've got stuck to your fridge. That tiny magnet won't do much. I still wouldn't recommend eating it though. But what if you got a stronger magnet than that one? Like a lot stronger than that one. Say 1,000,000 times stronger. Is that dangerous, even with no metals around? Well, I might be getting ahead of myself here. But the answer I found to that question was truly terrifying. First of all, to satiate your curiosity, assuming a standard horseshoe magnet weight of 0.18 pounds, it would have to be going approximately 34 meters per second or 96 miles per hour to be fatal. So that's about how hard you would have to throw it to kill. Moving on, I wanted to find out if your body was affected by magnetic fields. I mean, this would be important to know for our hypothetical magnet murder weapon. Starting out, is your blood magnetic? This was the first thing I was really interested in. I mean, that could lead to some scary stuff. The answer? No. Yes? Sometimes? Well, you see, it's difficult. While it is true that there is iron in our blood, it's not just raw elemental iron just hanging around in there. Instead, the iron is found in a compound called hemoglobin, which is found in your red blood cells. Iron likes to bond with oxygen. They're soulmates, and the iron in your blood bonds with oxygen in order to take it where it needs to go. And this is where our problem presents itself. This purpose of hemoglobin results in it residing in two states. One, where it's carrying oxygen throughout the body, and one, where it's returning to the lungs without oxygen. The blood carrying oxygen is not paramagnetic, and the blood without oxygen is paramagnetic. 'Cause of course. Fun fact, this fact is actually used in some certain types of blood scans. Keep in mind, deoxygenated blood is still only weakly attracted to magnets, and roughly 70% of the blood in your body is oxygenated at any point, meaning Magneto could weakly blood bend 30% of someone some of the time. So, yeah, that's not super great. While researching this, however, I found something in the human body that was magnetic. Magnetite. Yes, like the stuff from Subnautica, and yes, it has the word magnet in it. Anyways, I found that this mineral can be found throughout the body, but particularly in the brain. Which, that sounds pretty dangerous, right? A magnetic material in the vital brain? Looks like we found our method of magnetic manslaughter. Well, there's a catch. Doing research, there can be from 5 million to 100 million magnetite crystals per gram of human brain. So let's say a person is exceptionally magnetic, which is a hilarious compliment, and contains the 100 million magnetite crystals throughout the whole brain. So these crystals can be 20 to 100 nanometers in size. Again, let's go with the largest number. Computing that out, we find that per gram of human brain, there is 5.18 times 10 to the negative 11 grams of magnetite. That's not even a millionth of a gram. Even multiplying by the weight of the human brain, you don't even get a thousandth of a gram. Dang. So this doesn't appear to be very scary for us. Maybe sci-fi writers are right. Maybe magnetism is entirely non-lethal. Except here comes the big rule for magnetism today. Everything is magnetic if you try hard enough. Magnetic is really a word we use to classify how things work in our everyday life, but most substances are at the very least slightly attracted or repelled by magnets. For example, a team in the Netherlands found that most organic material is slightly repelled by magnets if you really wanted it to be. And look at them using that principle to make this frog float. Look at it go. If you really get into it, certain subatomic particles like electrons, the things in all things, are affected by magnetism. Not in the same attracted, repelled way like objects, because why would anything be easy, but they are affected. So if you really wanted to affect someone with magnetism, you could. But that just begs the question. If you need a really strong magnet to affect people, what kind of levels are we talking about? Well, to answer that, I'll go through the various magnet strengths, starting with the weaker ones you see daily, and ending with the one that you should pray you never see. Okay, sorry to interrupt here. I know it was just starting to get into the good stuff, but this is a pretty nice point to ask you to like and subscribe, please, so you can see more. Anyways, right back to it. Starting with probably the weakest magnetic field you'll ever see, Earth's magnetic field. I'm sure you've all heard of this. In fact, you're feeling it right now, so I won't spend much time on it, but it's important to start here to provide context for the later ones. The Earth's magnetic field has a field strength of 0.00005 Tesla, so not that strong. That doesn't mean it's not really cool, though. The Earth's magnetic field is ginormous. You can't really say exactly how large it is because there's no real start and end to a magnetic field, but it at least covers the entire Earth, which has a diameter of around 8,000 miles. Considering I can barely keep my magnetic poster on the wall, which it is touching 0 feet away, 8,000 miles is pretty impressive. On top of that, the Earth's magnetic field is what stops us from getting blasted into Mars by the sun, and lots of animals use the magnetic field as well. Fun fact, it's believed the red fox uses the magnetic field to hunt, which is why its hunting odds are more successful facing north than any other direction, which that's super weird and random. Next on the list is those cheap kind of bar magnets you can buy at random places. They have a magnetic strength of around 0.01 Tesla, which is not much, but it is still 200 times that of the Earth's. After, we have those neodymium magnets with strengths of 0.5 to 1.4 Tesla, which means we're getting into some big boy numbers now. However, both of these are still completely harmless, unless you eat them, which don't, but even then it would probably only be dangerous if you ate 2, because it kind of stick to each other, meaning you can probably eat one as a snack. If you wanted to, please don't eat magnets. Then we've probably got the strongest magnet that you'll ever experience in your lifetime, an MRI. That's weird. If I had a nickel for every time I've talked about MRIs on this channel, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it is weird that it's happened twice. The MRI is where we finally made our first step into the you gotta be careful zone. Most MRIs will have a magnetic field strength of around 3 Tesla, double that of the strongest neodymium magnet. If there's any ferrous materials in the room, you could potentially get my favorite scientific term, the missile effect. As you can probably guess, that's when a small metal object gets launched into the center of the MRI, potentially even rocketing back and forth. This can be quite dangerous, and is why no metal objects are allowed in the scanner room. The MRI can also be dangerous to those with metal medical objects, like pacemakers. But based on the fact that we use MRIs to scan people all of the time, it's quite safe, as long as you're careful about it. In fact, it's safer than most other methods like X-ray scans. With the MRI being the strongest magnet most people will experience, what is the strongest magnet we have? Well, a team in Florida was determined to see just how far we could push it. That seems like humanity. Let's just make a massive magnet just to see if we can. With the indomitable human spirit as our guide, they made a magnet of a strength of 45 Tesla. That is insane. 15 times an MRI and 900,000 times that of the Earth's magnetic field. This thing is pretty scary. It's got all of the dangers I mentioned for the MRI, but so much worse now. Don't bring any metals near it unless you have a death wish, but even without those, you might not be safe. You see, I've kept a nasty secret until now. While the human body is at most a tiny bit affected by magnets, the electric charges in the neurons are not. Magnetism and electricity are inherently connected. That's why it's called the electromagnetic force. This means that they can influence each other, and your neurons rely on this electric charge. Even healthy people with no metal and no pacemaker can experience symptoms like pain, twitching, and even seizures when exposed to this magnet. The human body's pretty tough, though, and for most people, this would not be fatal as long as the exposure wasn't for an extended period of time. But if the strongest magnet on Earth isn't enough, then what else is there? Well, it's time to look to space and examine one of the most terrifying things in the whole universe. The magnetar. The magnetar is a type of neutron star formed when a star 10 to 15 times the weight of our sun collapses on itself. The magnetar is unique for its very strong magnetic field, which is not possessed by all neutron stars. How strong is it? Well, it has a Tesla strength of 1 billion Tesla. That is 22 million times stronger than Earth's strongest magnet and 10 trillion times the Earth's magnetic field. And you know what's even scarier? That is the low end, with some being upwards of 100 times stronger. I know what some of you might be thinking. So it's a big number. What's the deal? None of the other magnets have really done anything. Well, the magnetar is so strong that it can rip the electrons off of atoms, meaning a magnetar can disassemble you on the molecular level. I like the way Paul Sutter, an astrophysicist, puts it. The first thing you would notice is your entire nervous system, which is based on electrical charges moving throughout your body, is going to stop working. And then you basically dissolve. But you'll be fine, though. We haven't detected a magnetar within 100 light years of Earth. Don't worry. Even if there was one, it turns off your nervous system, so you'd never even feel it. This was your online friend, Balder. Hey guys, just popping in here as a last note to make it easier for some of you to fall asleep tonight. But anyways, do please like and subscribe and comment how stupid I am. All of that helps me a lot, so thank you. And stick around for the next ones, one of which will most likely involve some of the signs of nukes, so that's fun. But in conclusion, can you kill someone with a magnet? Yes, absolutely, 1,000,000%, and all you need to do it is a massive neutron star.